Hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Living. Today we're going to get started on container number 1 on our container shop build. This is the container that is already welded in place, that is bulletproof, and it will be the one that we're going to be utilizing for our storm shelter. Now, as you know, we've had all kinds of tons of other projects going on. Now that we're getting back on this, it has rained almost every day for the past 2 weeks. We got 4 inches of rain yesterday. So this is a perfect time to get inside here and start getting this puppy prepped up for living. I'm not talking about long term now, so don't get your hopes up. This is not going to be some kind of crystal chandelier. This is going to be bare minimum, running off the power station, a good place to stay for a few days when the storm goes through. Be nice and safe.
So today we are going to be running off our power pole. That is, fingers crossed if we don't lose power, because it still has been raining on and off. But so today we are going to be running off just some power, and eventually we want this thing to be completely self-sustaining, like Jim said. We want to be able to be housed in here if the circumstances do come up with the hurricanes. I think that this last hurricane that just came through and did a lot of damage in Houston and somewhat to some of the areas around us really kind of put it into perspective of like, okay, now that the goat's hoof hut is built, we should probably focus on, important things like a storm shelter.
Now, before we really get kicked off, I've got to tell y'all just a couple things. It's really funny. We tried to go on a little quick trip to Galveston here not too long ago. This hurricane was coming in towards Corpus Christi. Thought, it'd be all right. So we went to Galveston, changed positions. We wasn't even able to stay the night there. Then when we came home, we got some of the storms off of that. Nothing like our neighbors did, poor things over there in Texas. But it did knock our power out, and it really helped light a fire underneath us. And I'm telling you, in the middle of this, I got COVID. Lydia followed right behind me. So we were sick as dogs, had everything in the world going on, but it's all right. We're back, we're on top again. But it has helped me realize that our luck is so bad that it could be raining starburst and Skittles outside, and a big oak tree limb would fall and hit us right on top of the head. So we better snap in gear and get us a safe place to stay.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is start moving this weight equipment and focusing on the back of the wall. So the back wall, well, let's just show y'all. Hey y'all, so today we're going to be taking a quick break from our project to show y'all all about our new garden helper, the SUNSEEKER X7. Y'all, we have been so excited to try this out, and just look at this little thing go. It is perfect for lawns up to 0.75 acres, but if you got a bigger space like we do, the X Pro 7 and X Pro 7 Plus can handle up to 3 acres. One of my favorite features is a visual AI system. With this binocular camera, it automatically detects and avoids obstacles, so no worries about it running over the kids' toys. And with AO Navi positioning technology, it can go around the whole house, the acre on the side, the acre in the front, the area in the back, all over the property accurately without getting lost. Okay, now y'all check this part out. The AWD system and rugged off-grid tires give it amazing traction and stability, even on steep slopes and uneven ground. This mower powers through anything. So the setup was a breeze. Just a few steps to map out the boundaries, and then I control everything from a smart app. It's hands-free convenience, which gives me more of my own time. The SUNSEEKER X7 has been impressing us completely since we got it. The dual cutting plates make quick work of our yard, and smart features like auto rain detection and anti-theft give us a little peace of mind. Overall, the SUNSEEKER X7 is a fantastic robotic mower, perfect for our family needs. So y'all embrace life in a smarter way with the SUNSEEKER. Plus, get back some of your own time. For more details, head down to the description and check out SUNSEEKER X7 for your outdoor needs. Thank you, SUNSEEKER, for sponsoring this video, and now back to our projects. So the back wall right now has been kind of a workout area for us. We move it all this in here. This is where we come out here and do a little set or two. can't get guns like that. Without a little workout set. So anyway, we're gonna have to rehome this, maybe just move it up for now, and eventually we'll have a good little place to put this. But for now, I think on this back wall is gonna be where a lot of our power source is gonna come from. So get this moved, and I swear, Jim Wayne, that we have moved this thing more times.
We got more of a workout moving it than we have using it, I think.
Exactly.
Now, the bare minimum to get this thing livable is, if you know anything about shipping containers, the doors close from the outside. So that part doesn't do us a huge amount of good. So if we do get somebody to lock us in, there's no way to get out. So we're gonna have to have a walk-through door. We're gonna put that roughly in the, right, you know, kind of there. Now, this is metal, so when the sun's shining, you have an oven. So we're gonna have to get some kind of insulation. We're gonna get some type of air conditioning system in here to keep us from completely smothering.
I have a question. Serious question.
Yeah.
What about a bathroom?
You know, that never entered my mind. That's a good point, though.
Yes, we have buckets.
Vacuum cleaners.
Oh, no.
This is the north wall, and this is the south wall. If this wall wasn't here and you walked in this direction, you would walk right off of the slab into the rocks, into the grass, which would be mud if there was a storm outside. This way is the north direction. This is going to be completely over roof whenever we get done with that, so you'll be able to walk outside. If it's raining, you'll be dry. And one thing that you're not going to be seeing a lot of, and that's window installation, all those amenities like that. Is that how you say that? All of the extra stuff that you'd have in a home that we're not going to put in here. But we just don't need it because this is not going to be a long-term stay. We need air, ventilation, a place to come in and out freely as we wish without depending on someone on the outside to let us in and out. And I think that's going to button up.
Think I can still do it? Oh, okay. That's my max. Okay. It's the workout for the day.
All right.
We're starting off with this back wall, and what we're going to be building all these walls out of is 2x4s. Now, we are going to be putting them only on 2-foot centers, and that's because structurally, the corrugation does that for us. The only thing that these walls are going to be housing is going to be the electrical that's going to be running here, and it's going to be something to screw to whenever we decide what kind of finish we're going to put on the outsides of these walls. So if y'all have any suggestions on what we should cover them in, sheetrock is not an option. Me and Jim already talked about it, not doing sheetrock. So if y'all have anything else, let us know. But this area is going to be the first place that we're building, which means that it needs to be set perfectly right. So we're going to take our time, make sure that we get everything to the height that we wanted, make sure that we're building everything flush and plumb over here, because if not, the rest of the walls are going to be uneven. So we really got to take our time with this. And it's been a while since we've actually built a wall, so fingers crossed that this goes well.
There's kind of a lot to take in consideration for us building this wall. You see, you have these blocks that's going to be protruding from the ceiling. We come up with, we're going to be building our wall to go underneath these blocks. And that's going to be on the same elevation as the top plate of our side walls. The biggest reason that we're going to be doing that is that we're also going to need some ceiling joists. And in order for us to do that, we have to have enough clearance to be able to get that. That's going to give us a little better than 3.5 inches. So after we get these walls stood up, we should be able to put these ceiling joists in, turn them, and be able to put high tensile screws in from the bottom.
Hey, you told me that this thing was going to be like bare minimum. Why are we putting a ceiling in?
You got to have a ceiling. The ceiling's going to be hot just like the walls, so we have to have some kind of insulation in there too. And plus, hey, nobody wants to lay in here for 16 hours or more and look at the corrugated ceiling.
Y'all heard it here first. Oh, no, we don't need a bed in here. We don't need flooring in here. We don't need paint. You know, next thing you know, we're going to have a bidet in here.
I'll get you a water hose. We'll call it even. There we go.
91 and a half.
We're going to lay out for the 2-foot centers, and we're going to have a stud on each end. We're going to put a set of blocks, and we're going to put another stud. That's going to make that stud fall out of the 3.5-inch wall that's going to come up to it. That way we have a board on each side that we're going to be able to nail whatever kind of sheeting or whatever it is we're going to put on these walls.
Okay, so if I heard you right, that means that we need 7 studs, correct?
In this little wall, 7 studs and some blocks. So why did you grab the tape measure and run over here with a pencil and start laying it out? Are you afraid that I'm going to mess it up?
I'm not necessarily saying you, but we've had a few little hiccups with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark us out, and then I think if I mark this right, we'll be good.
Check out this little dude.
That was literally right behind me.
Just hanging out like nobody's business. I'm just going to hide in plain sight right here. No big deal.
Wait, is that a black widow?
It is.
Okay, you weren't going to tell me that that was behind me?
Well, I know how you get with spiders sometimes, and I didn't want to hurt me or you.
Hey, you got to see this spider that I saw the other day.
The funny about the whole Black Widow thing is whenever I was a kid, you might as well say, I was about 16 years old. I went with my dad and my uncle to go to the river bottom and clean out some net sets. So where we're going to set the nets, we always take the saws and cut all the brush out. That way when the water does come up and the river bottom floods, we have a nice clean place to set our nets to catch fish. Well, I had my rubber boots outside, the boots that I wore that day. I put them on, and it was all day long. I felt like I had a thorn or a splinter or something in my sock, in the boot. It just kept sticking me all morning. And we were packing chainsaws and dragging brush, and finally, it just irritated me to the point to where I had to just take my boot off. Come to find out, there was a Black Widow in my boot, and it had already bit me a bunch of times. It was just in one spot. And if you ever been bit by a Black Widow before, that was my first and only time to have an encounter with a Black Widow. It wasn't fun.
Okay, wait, you're missing out on like the whole best part. There was like some festival going on at the school, right? And
Yeah.
you tried to drive up there?
There was, there was a Halloween carnival going on at the little school that I went to, a little small country school. And my mom had a little car, and it was a little 5-speed. Had a clutch. Anyway, the school's like 10 minutes from where I live. So I was shifting the car, getting there, and I mean, I wasn't sick, nothing. This was late in the evening. This was after dark. But I noticed the closer that I got to school, the harder that it was for me to, bend my legs, bend my joints, and all such as that. By the time I got to the school, I don't know if it was from me taking a hot shower or relaxing for a minute, whatever. But by the time I got out of the car, I physically could not make it to the school. I could not walk to the school. And every joint in my body felt like somebody had pumped them full of concrete. It was an awful experience. But here I am, mobile. I'm good today. When I went to the doctor, he said that it caused whatever, some kind of huge word, and you get shots and all that kind of stuff. Feel like you're going to die for a few days, and then you slowly start scratching back to the top of the hill. So that's what
Wait, tell everybody how many kids you had in your class.
was usually, I want to say, like from 230 to 260 students from pre-K to, the seniors.
Yeah. So
Huge
whenever
school.
he says small school, graduated with like, probably count on your hands how many kids. She's not the friendliest thing, but she's a rat catcher.
She is good at her craft.
This one just needs to go back just a few more inches, and then it'll be flush like the other side, but need to get out our...
Not love tap hooters. What happens are these containers have little bends and things like that in the sheet metal, and you'll measure from one spot like we did, try to slide it in place, and didn't pay attention to dents like this. So that's where we're at, trying to wiggle it around to get it straightened up and get it put in place.
At least you got the cure for that. I don't think it looks too bad now that it's been a while since we built a wall. I think it looks pretty stinking good.
Turned out pretty good, didn't it? We got a really good starting point. It just feels kind of weird building a wall inside a wall that doesn't need a wall.
I know we could have just got some magnetic shelves or something and just done that instead.
Just glued some, insulated foam board to the walls.
Super glued it.
Just hope nobody leans against it.
Exactly. So y'all, it has been a few weeks since we gave y'all an update on Dasher's Law, so that is what we're going to be doing right now.
Now, when all this happened with Dasher, the two officers said that we should be able to contact the district attorney's office within a couple weeks, and at that point in time, the citation would be in their system.
So since that time, I've called every Monday to see whenever it's going to be in, and they keep telling me that They're going to be pushing it off a week, just that it takes a little bit of time to get these tickets in. So really the only thing that I can do right now is just keep calling every Monday and seeing whenever they get my ticket processed. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has actually reached out offering to pay for this ticket. We do want to say thank you for that. And although we do really appreciate that, we do feel responsible to take this on for ourselves. So we're hoping that we can get it figured out before we have to go to court and deal with those things. But in the case that we can't, we do want to say thank you to everybody who has reached out offering to pay for that.
This is the part that we don't do very well with, and I think that's the waiting. We are, when it's time to go do it, we like to go do it and get it done, no matter what the situation is. But we have been advised by several different, we'll call them entities right now, and they all suggest the same. Get the citation figured out, figure out whatever the severity of that issue is going to come out to be before we take it any further in this process. And the reason for that, it could turn out that it's a substantial tool that we could actually use in this fight in the long term.
Right, so for now, me and Jim personally really have just been keeping this in the public eye. We've been working to really just get the support of various politicians that we have reached out to. And that's what they're telling us, is just wait to see what they're going to do and then go from there. And this kind of stuff, like y'all even told us in the last time we gave y'all an update, many of y'all were like, y'all, this is fixing to take up a lot of y'all's time, and this is going to be very costly, and this is going to be something that you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time to, which we are willing to do, but it is, like y'all even said, going to be a process and take a lot of time. Now, I do want to say thank you to everybody who reaches out on the weekly asking for updates. We've had a lot of people reach out saying that they've done the same thing. We've had a lot of people reach out, even sending us pictures of stuff that they've rehabilitated in Louisiana, and know that they can't even put it out there for the public to know because they don't have a rescue for these animals as well. So thank y'all for all the different types of support that y'all have sent us. And we sit here at this table with a different mindset this time. Last time we were extremely upset. We were hurt, and we didn't have any knowledge of what to do. But with the knowledge that we have now comes power, and it's just going to be determining when we are going to be using those tools.
At this point in time, there's a whole lot of unknowns. And the reason that it may not be in the system is because maybe something that some of you have done, reaching out to those people, might have actually reached somebody that has ears and, a good head on their shoulders, and maybe they're taking a closer look at this. We don't know. All we know is that there's been completely and utter silence on our end. Now look, here's another thing. We've had several people reach out to us and be like, with everything that's crazy going on in the world today, y'all should probably focus your energy somewhere else. But we're not focusing on just this circumstance. We're thinking about this in this light. Okay, this is just one scenario and probably a multitude of scenarios to where there is one law that prohibits moving a fawn from the wild, which we're in total support of. However, under that same law, they gave us a citation for the same thing, for saving a life. We just don't believe in blanket punishment. Right's right, wrong's wrong. But it kind of goes back to when you were in elementary school, little Johnny over there was caught throwing a pencil at the teacher. Then the teacher can't figure out who it is, so she punishes the whole class. There's nothing fair about that.
Now, one thing that me and Jim actually haven't sat down and talked about, but I know that we have the same stance on, is, like Jim just said, it's not that we want to take this law away, because we do believe that people need to be punished if they're going out and trying to take these animals and they're trying to do the wrong thing. Like we said, if it was in the wild, we would have absolutely left it, like we've done to, maybe the 20 deer that we have seen this year that we have not messed with, including 4 or 5 different little fawns that we've stumbled across. And
could I interject right here? I was just, we always get crazy comments, right? We share them sometimes. But one of them was like, this dude just wanted a pet baby deer, and he had the opportunity, and now he's upset. Just to prove to myself that I had the skill set, I went the next day and I found a baby deer. And I videoed this baby fawn, which I could have took at any moment out of the wild, but I would not do that. But I just needed to prove to myself that, hey, I've got the skill set. I can find these things. And if I wanted to, I could. But we choose not to. Can we throw that little video clip in here of that baby that I found? That'd be cool.
So like we said, they're all around this place. And that kind of leads me up to where I was going is if there was a place, so that way in the future, that if this kind of situation happens again, maybe the first time there's a warning and then they say, okay, but we're going to be able to take this to a rehabilitation center. Or they provide us with a rehabilitation center's phone number so that way they can get a hold of them, maybe go ahead and get some testing done. That way they make sure that there's no diseases. And then from there, they can take it, rehabilitate it, and let it go. And we would absolutely love to be this area's rehabilitation center, whatever that would turn into.
And I think the point that Lydia is really just trying to drive home is that each situation, no matter where it is in the world, no matter what you're doing, each individual situation is unique. In this particular situation, we had the skill set, we had the area, the location to be able to rehab this baby, let it go follow these deer that honestly walk up in our yard every night. It would have been so easy because he would have just been right on out there with them. It would have been a non-event.
But we want that opportunity to not just be for us. We want to be that opportunity for many people who end up finding deer like we just did. We're also really excited to tell y'all that we got all the Dasher merchandise ready to go. We're just going to be shipping out over the next few days. So if y'all ordered from us, we just want to say thank you, and y'all will be receiving that over the next few days.
And what a cool thing. You know, we have got so much support over this, and it is just tickling us pink that poor little Dasher's name is going to be out there on people's t-shirts, people's wristbands. People is going to know him. They're going to know his situation. And that is our hope in the long term. I mean, you got to have a heart for this kind of stuff because his little life could potentially save so many more.
Like I said earlier, we're sitting here with smiles today versus sad faces the last time. And we are so proud to have y'all backing us and supporting us through this whole process.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. And we'll be seeing you soon, Cajun family.